Think of a time in your life when you felt truly safe. Were you with family and friends? Maybe sharing a meal out in nature or at a community celebration? There may be people for whom this is a challenge, and that's exactly why Just Communities Arizona exists, because everyone deserves to be safe. And when we talk about public safety, we tend to talk about police and courts and jails. Rarely do we talk about the kinds of things you may have identified, about family, about sharing, home, and belonging. But we all know deep down that true safety is so much more than not being the victim of a crime. If you're facing eviction, are you safe? If your child is addicted or facing a mental health crisis, is she safe? My name is Caroline Isaacs. I'm the executive director of Just Communities Arizona, and I spent the last 25 years trying to end mass incarceration. What I learned is that we need a shared vision for what safety can look like beyond punishment. There are organizations in our town that are innovating new approaches, holistic approaches to community safety. I've seen how a community garden provides not just healthy food, but a place for neighbors to gather. I've seen how bilingual public health outreach increases wellness in immigrant communities, and how parenting training can help strengthen a family when a loved one comes home from prison. These are all the kinds of safety we need as human beings. These organizations, however, are under-resourced and don't have the capacity to reach the large funders and get the support they need. Just Communities Arizona works to shift the narrative on what safety looks like, to help decision makers and funders identify these community-based approaches as public safety and move them to invest in them. Excuse me. We need partners who want to be part of creating these new approaches to safety. $500 funds one of 6 community safety dialogues where we ask folks what safety means to them and what kinds of approaches they want to see in their neighborhoods. $1,500 funds a community leader to facilitate a dialogue in their neighborhood. And $10,000 funds our statewide network of over 50 community safety organizations to advocate for public investment in these approaches. Tonight, you can help fundamentally shift things that are important. Thank you very much. Da 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 da.
You're gonna have to cut because the tone is just so good, and I understand the inclination to just talk a little faster, but what you're trying to do is build this sense of tranquility, and the way that you deliver it is doing that, and so we're gonna have to cut, and that's fine. You've got plenty of time to do it. I think it's really good. I love how much more I think I understand what you do today
Yay!
than I did last time. I really think I got it, and that's a huge accomplishment because what you're doing is something very different, and it's a little bit kind of out there, right?
Not the average bear.
But I think you identify the problem. I think you've got like a true thesis to what you're saying, and it's the true safety isn't just not having violence, and I think you're really close, but you're gonna have to cut a sentence or two and not speed it up.
Hi, Caroline. Very good job. Yeah, you get like most improved maybe of the, right? Because, last time I remember thinking, are they a community foundation? Like, what are they doing? Yeah. So it's much, much, much clearer. I do have a question for you, though. So you do these community safety dialogues, and you have facilitators for those. But how is it that you're connecting the funders to the programs?
So out of those safety dialogues, we're then trying to, basically invite folks in a neighborhood to work with us to organize for that investment. So we go to the city or we go to the county or whatever, but it has to be generated there, right? We're not going
Right.
to waltz in and tell them what to do.
So that is missing, right? Don't you think that's missing? I didn't get that part, and I want that part.
Okay.
So I don't know how you do that because everything is so perfect. But I think if there was a way to maybe take something out somewhere else and add to that piece on the facilitation that, from which we will be able to do X after the facilitated piece,
So the next one, the 10,000 funds the statewide network.
Yeah.
And they are collectively advocating for public investment.
Okay.
But maybe that doesn't, because I'm just trying to do the numbers jump.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like, we're doing this thing here, and then we also have this larger network that is, organizing themselves and, like
Right.
trying to get in front of the Department of Health and whoever else has
Yeah,
the money.
maybe there's just like a couple of little words
Okay.
that could change that right in there. Between the 1,500 and the 10,000, there's some connection there. And I loved where you were going at the end before you got cut off, where you said you can help fundamentally shift.
The way we take care of ourselves and each other. Please join us.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, I like that. Or the other thing I was thinking is something like you can help invest in true community safety, right? Because that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe think about that.
So I'm just going to add something since I heard the last one too. I have to echo Aaron and Laura that I got it this time because I didn't the last time. I had a sense of what you were talking about. It was clear. It was so clear to me from the moment you started. So great improvement. Stephen.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, that. I mean, I didn't see the last one, but I got it all, so that's a good one for the first time. I know your delivery is great. I was writing a note, so I kind of came in when you started all the numbers. I think you can emphasize that more. I mean, that's important. You're proud of that,
Yeah.
So I think we can see that. I also want to say I think your personality can come out even more because we started seeing that. It's funny because we see it when it's before and after.
Yeah.
We want to see it during it. And it doesn't mean, it doesn't mean you have to be big during it. Like, I get it. It's a serious thing, but a topic. But we just want to see your personality come out more. You're excited about this opportunity to share this with you and to ask. Stillness was great. I will say you can probably find moments. We know you can be still, which is fantastic. That's actually very good. I think we can find moments where you move.
Okay.
Yeah, find those moments. Doesn't mean you have to pace or move.
was like, don't
It
move,
can-
don't
and-
move.
And yeah, and when we say move, we don't mean suddenly start pacing.
Right.
Like, that's not what we're saying. We mean you move, and it
Take a
means
few
maybe you come over
steps.
here and you say a few things over here.
Yeah.
Then you go across and say, it doesn't
Got it.
mean you're constantly moving. It just means find those moments. I don't know if at the beginning there was a pause. I don't know if you forgot maybe a little bit a second where you were.
Totally did, yes.
So you did the exact right thing. I mean, meaning I was going, did I question it? I go, did she forget? Oh, no, she didn't? I was like, it's good. You didn't look down, you didn't look up, you didn't go, oh, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? You just went, you took a second, you were looking out, and you took a breath. I think you just lean into that. I forgot where I'm at. Oh, there it is. And you did it so quick, and you kept your composure, so awesome.
I'll just pick up on that pause. I actually wasn't sure if we were all taking a collective breath together to imagine where we felt safe. I thought that was really powerful. I was surprised. I think the storytelling that you have was surprising. I think to just have to like consider myself and where I felt safe is a
Good,
really
good.
great place to start. And then we get all those stories and information. It just feels very personal. So great work on that. I don't know, maybe take that breath and we all breathe together. I agree with
I'm
Erin.
sure I'll forget something somewhere in there.
Yeah, it's a great tactic. We're all together in this. I agree with Erin that I want you to have more space, and I think the cutting is important because I want to see you.
I introduced my damn self, like you made me last time. God, you people.
Yeah, it is very calming. But I feel like there's times where I want you to play with the tempo a little bit so that like you could say something. Like the part that stood out for me when you're like repeating those 2 times, is that is it safe? That's really powerful to consider. Is that safe? And like playing with the rate and letting that sink in for a second. That's what I mean by changing the tempo and finding those places where I don't want to say you speak faster, but like you land the point a little quicker and then you
Okay.
take a moment. It just changes the tone so it's not all constant all the way throughout. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah. Oh, and the last thing I want to say is, yeah, the stillness was wonderful. And I don't want to tell you to do anything that makes you feel uncomfortable. It's not like you. But I did see that there was movement, like wanting to get out, and that there was like a little bit of rocking. So take that. Like you have that instinct of movement, like stand still when you stand still, but like if you have that urge to like move, like go for it, like boldly. Great work.
I'll just say real quick on the idea of the cutting. I think the most important thing is I believe that you can make me feel safe and make other people feel safe. And that's something that takes like 3 minutes to build. Any 1 or 2 words or sentences isn't going to change that. So, yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, I wrote down this sentence. There may be people for whom this is a challenge. Okay, I think that there's no doubt there are people, right? So I take out the maybe.
Got
But
it.
also, I wonder if you just want to say something like, there are people who can't do this, right?
Yeah.
It's
But
not
they're
even
in the room, so I don't want to be like, yeah.
Well, no,
you know.
I would just say it. There are people who cannot do this
Right.
because they have never felt safe.
Right.
I think that would be way stronger and also make us all go, whoa, you're right. I turned off the microphone.
I heard you. Great. Thank you so much. Just gonna take that out of there.